Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, the world is really changing right now. I mean, in the last few months, we have seen so much advancement in AI to the point at which the CEO of Google said that AI could make a bigger impact on humanity than fire, and is even calling for regulation. And it's scary because we have already seen the grim effects of AI during our first contact with AI that happened at around 2010 with the algorithms of social media, and it resulted in information overload, addiction, doom scrolling, bots, deepfakes, fake news, shorter attention spans, and mental health issues. And now in 2023, we're approaching our second contact with AI with all these new tools that are being released every single day, and we don't know yet what the side effects of this new technology could be. But it might be fake everything, trust collapse, exponential scams, exponential blackmail, reality collapse, alpha persuade, automated exploitation of code. I mean, not to start this video off too grim, but many people are even comparing the threat of AI to the Manhattan Project and the creation of nuclear weapons. And what we choose to do in this next year will really set the stage of how humanity will play out in the next 10 to 20 years. And I think it's important to take this issue seriously, to educate yourself on this, because ignorance is not bliss. You need to start taking steps today to strive for a more simple life so that you don't end up falling victim to all the unknown side effects of this new technology. And so in this video, I want to talk about how to survive this second wave. I want to talk about the coping strategies that I have adopted after working directly with the algorithm, because this job can really take a mental toll on you. And I hope by understanding some of these strategies, you can be more sane as this new technology comes out. So here is my survival guide to living a more simple life in the age of AI. Chapter 1. You are not crazy. AI is making you crazy. I think in this day and age, a lot of us feel crazy. A lot of us feel an increased level of stress, anxiety, and depression, and we have no idea that the reason is because we are being pulled in from all different directions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by complex algorithms trying to get our attention. Computer scientist Jaron Lanier said, "AI will not destroy us, it'll make us go insane." Let me give you a real-life example of how modern AI can make you go crazy without you even realizing it. Now imagine going to Zillow to look for a new apartment. When you download the app, it automatically starts sending you new listings to look at. And every hour, Zillow continues sending you these updates, which makes you aggressively continue your search. After looking at so many places, you begin to feel an extreme level of stress, anxiety, and depression, ultimately making you feel crazy. And the reason you feel crazy is not necessarily from the apartment search, but from the way AI is controlling your apartment search. And many people are unable to detect that the reason they feel crazy is because they're being overwhelmed by information that is given to them by artificial intelligence. And this is just one example of how AI can make you crazy. But other examples are social media updates, comparison on social media, infinite scrolling, news stories, cat videos, YouTube autoplay, messages. When you have this level of stimulation and manipulation in your life, how can you not go crazy? How can you not have increased stress, anxiety, and depression? I want to start this video off just by saying you are not crazy. AI is making you crazy. It's trying to get you to process an extreme amount of information that your primitive brain can't handle. AI is trying to control your life without you even realizing it. And as we approach this second contact with more advanced AI, it is going to make people go even more crazy. So start recognizing it, and now I want to talk about how to fight this craziness. Chapter 2. Start your day from 0 to 10, not 0 to 100. Imagine getting in your car, and the second you get on the road, you floor it and go from 0 to 100. Obviously, that's not a good idea. Now imagine getting up and first thing in the morning, getting your mind to process news stories, emails, cat videos, social media updates, messages. It's like going from 0 to 100 in your mind first thing in the morning. And majority of people do this before they even take their morning poop. They start to process and consume all this information that is fed to them by artificial intelligence. I find that the first hour of the day sets the stage of how the rest of the day is going to go. And for me personally, if I immediately start looking at my phone and processing information, then the rest of the day I'm going to be anxious and stressed. So I have adopted the practice. Start the day from 0 to 10, not 0 to 100. I would never get in my car and just floor it to high speeds right away, and this is how I look at my mind. I need to warm it up until I can start moving a little bit quicker. And to me, moving from 0 to 10 means never immediately looking at my phone. Don't look at my phone or computer the first hour of the morning, and establish a simple morning routine. When I focus on starting the day slow and simple, I find that it's easier to control the urge of constantly seeking stimulation throughout the day. I find I'm not as anxious and clouded-minded because I've given my mind the chance to wake up at its natural speed. So don't start your day in overdrive and keep the morning hours the slowest and the simplest. Chapter 3: The Importance of Boundaries. As a content creator, whenever I'm on the YouTube Creator Studio, I have noticed that if I spend too much time reading comments or looking at analytics, I will go crazy. And to be honest, I have lost my mind many times while doing this, and I can guarantee you that all creators will agree with me on this, because no matter how much I get used to reading of feedback, or no matter how used I get to looking through the analytics, there is no point where I will ever be able to mentally handle it. And I think with any form of artificial intelligence, you have to establish boundaries on yourself or you will lose yourself to it. These tools, these AI tools, thrive the most when you are not intentional. When you have mindless habits and you're just unaware of the consequences, you will lose yourself to these tools. And so setting boundaries is extremely important. It's necessary for your survival. And boundaries mean different things for different people. But some important boundaries that I set are having unplugged time, hard quitting toxic apps, setting lights out time for screens, and limit screen time. You cannot beat these sophisticated tools. It doesn't matter how smart you are or how mentally strong you think you are. If you do not set boundaries on yourself, you will lose yourself to this artificial intelligence. But when you set boundaries, you gain back control. You're fighting for your mental health, and you're recognizing that it is impossible to beat out these tools. And the only way to beat them is by establishing boundaries. Chapter 4: Taking Moments to Clear Your Mind. Let's just be real. In this last decade, we have seen people act in ways we have never seen in the whole course of history. We have seen people do things that nobody knows how to solve. And you have to recognize that it is connected to AI in some way. It is connected to this information overload we get on a daily basis. When you think about it, from the second that we wake up, we are always thinking. And if you are one of those people who picks up your phone before you take your morning poop, you are stimulated from the second you open your eyes. Your mind is racing the second you wake up. And in this information age, where we're constantly being stimulated, I find it important to take moments to clear your mind, to breathe, to meditate, to clear your mind of all this stimulation. You owe it to yourself to take at least 5 minutes of the day to disconnect yourself from the stimulation presented by artificial intelligence and just be. One thing that I've been trying to do in all this chaos is just to meditate, to focus on nothing. Because if you think about it, from the second we wake up, we are always thinking. And if you do not take these moments to just do nothing, these thoughts will just keep compounding and turn against you. In the age of AI, we are so focused on being productive and being efficient that we sacrifice so much of our mental health. And as we approach the second contact with artificial intelligence, it's just going to lead people to even darker places in their minds. And if you don't take moments to clear your mind, you will lose yourself. Chapter 5, Staying True to Yourself. One thing that I think is really hard to do in this day and age is to stay true to yourself, because everyone is trying to be someone else by doing things like portraying their lives a certain way on social media, or comparing themselves to others, or distorting their body image. And especially for me doing this, it can be hard not to stay true to myself, because I get all this feedback and all these comments of people that think they know who I am. They think they know what I believe or how I act. And it can be hard to not confuse myself for this character that people perceive me, to not lose myself in this character. And I think that we all deal with this in a certain way, because as humans, we care about what others think of us. And you can deny it and be this macho man and just hide and pretend like you don't care what other people think. But this is a fundamental human quality. We all care to some extent what other people think about us. And as AI gets more sophisticated, I find it even more important to stay true to yourself and accept who you are as a person and all your faults and all your imperfections. Because if you can't be yourself, then you cannot live your life. Chapter 6, You Are What You Know. One reason that I like to talk about living a frugal, simple life is because I believe that what makes a person has nothing to do of how big their house is, or what car they drive, or what their job title is. That is just complete bullshit, and I hope that you're able to see past that. What makes you you is about your personality, your experiences, your knowledge, your critical thinking skills, your creativity, your perspective. I think with all these new tools, especially the ones that are coming in this second contact with artificial intelligence, they rob us of our humanity. They take away from what it means to be a human. Because when you take away these things, you're simply just a bag of skin that pushes buttons, a bag of skin that behaves. You are what you know. And I think that we need to embrace these things now more than ever, because these are the things that make us human. And I think that we all need to strive to live a more simple life and fight not for an AI future, but a human future. And to not lose ourselves to all this bullshit that is created by the lizard people of Silicon Valley. And with that, muchas gracias. Que tenga un buen día. Video 108. Nos vemos, chicos.